Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Everything Seaplace. My name is Mike Renick. I am your host from this video. Lots of stuff, that's a technical term, lots of stuff has been happening with the insurance committee. Thought I'd take a minute and bring everyone up to date. I'll be right back. Welcome back everyone. My guest today is Mr. Alan Zuckerman. Alan, welcome.
Thank you, Mike, for having me.
Glad to have you here. So, a lot of work's been going on over the past few weeks in terms of looking at what's the right direction for Seaplace. Can you give us a high summary?
Sure. First, what we did was revisit some work from last year and tried to make sure that we remained being represented by the proper broker of record. In that regard, we revisited some conversations. We had interviewed what was one of the finalists in our previous round, and we had re-interviewed Gulf Shore, Acrisure at that time, who was a viable candidate.
Mhm.
However, here we would interview both, and there were some findings that we had received from Acrisure about some questions about the insurance that we had and the coverage, and we of course had to look into that. So we advised our present broker of record whether or not we needed to get coverage for those things. And there was, of course, as there always is, a difference of opinion from professionals. We had to decide, after looking at both positions, which position we were going to take for the purpose of having Seaplace be represented. Any of you might understand the broker of record kind of ideology in the business of insurance would realize that you are virtually selecting the person who will represent you in the marketplace. One of the things with broker of record that we don't like to do is bifurcate in any way the market. If one person is negotiating with you or on your behalf, we want to make sure that that person has the best opportunity to bring the most productive, the most competitive proposals back to the table on our behalf at Seaplace, and eventually, with great, FaceTime video, with great, yeah, let's
Keep going.
with great deliberation, and actually some people thinking that maybe we should do something else. We came to the conclusion and voted to continue with Mike Angers, who is our broker of record, but he works with and represents Brown and Brown Insurance Company.
So let's go back a little bit and let's talk about broker of record. So broker of record is where an organization like Seaplace makes a decision on their broker, and that gives that broker free reign with the entire market unless we break it up. So it's not the most competitive. It's not something I think it's right. I think it's backwards, but that's what it is. So the decision now was to pick broker A, our current broker, or broker B, who is one that was a finalist a year ago but didn't make the final top cut. Now, some folks recommended maybe we break it up and give, let's pretend there's 10 insurance companies, give 5 of them broker of record for one agent, 5 of them broker of record for the other agent. It's still, in my mind, not any more competitive. You've only got one agent you've given an exclusive to, whether it's the whole market, part of the market, whatever. So that doesn't fix that in my mind. And also, what if the right solution for Seaplace is number 2 in broker A and number 4 in broker B? If you divide that up, they don't come together again.
They do not, and that's exactly right. Unfortunately, it seems like my entire experience with insurance in New York State, it was virtually the same thing, and that's the way I had to purchase insurance for my company when I was in business. So this entire situation is not foreign to me.
So let me go through some facts. There was some information that may not have been correct. And I've done the due diligence. I've dug into this thing. Let's talk about Mike Angers and Brown and Brown. When we got the policy last year, it came in at about so it came in over $3 million. But one of the things Mike did, and there's been some criticism, but it's really a plus thing. He started a process where one or two of our buildings were misclassified. He saw that. He filed the objection with Citizens, and they awarded us a $300,000 reduction.
And we went right back into paying off the debt that we had for
But-
that insurance policy.
But what it did is it kicked off Kurt Baker, who dug deeper, and our total savings ended up to be $1 million. So there was a criticism level that why were we paying through Brown and Brown on $1 million we shouldn't have. Let me explain that. For those of you,
Can I help you with that?
I want to talk from a realtor perspective.
Sure. Oh, okay.
So
I understand.
when you buy a house, your real estate agent is going to work really hard to get you the best deal. But he or she isn't trained in terms of is the plumbing right, the electrical right, the foundation. You hire an inspector.
Well said.
That's what we do in this. We hired an engineer to do the wind mitigation for him. So it was the Seaplace hired individual that screwed up, frankly. And that's what drove the higher costs. Mike got a hold of that in the beginning. Kurt picked it up, and that delivered $1 million savings. That's a good news story as far as I'm concerned, and that's something you criticize because we're at a higher level. Would you agree with that?
It is really accurate. It's interesting how the wind mitigation professionals actually did not really come onto the property in a manner that would have verified the way that our buildings are constructed. As it turns out, we had the wonderful opportunity to use the actual architect of record to make sure that the construction that we were telling citizens that we had here was in fact capable of being insured at the highest
But
rate.
bottom line, it was our engineer that we hired.
It was our engineer
It's like
that made that mistake.
When you
And then-
purchase a home and you hire an inspector, if the inspector missed something, remember that inspector, he or she is trained, they're licensed by the state of Florida. That's what happened here.
And we had a licensed inspector.
engineer. So I want to clear
An
that up
engineer.
in terms of how
That's
that happened.
true. That's exactly
So
accurate.
when we look at that, bottom line, the insurance committee felt it was best to stay with Brown and Brown because even though our policy expires at the beginning of August, they go out beginning of May and start going through the market.
Well, exactly, and there was conversations about many things, and our committee was extremely diligent about discussing all of the issues and renewal times and how to go about doing better things for Seaplace, candidly. At the end of the conversation and the end of our deliberations, as it turns out, we all felt that the present representation that we get with Mike Angers and the conditions of the market led us to say that we should stay with Brown and Brown for another renewal year. In the future, we may do differently, but right
Absolutely.
now we think we made the best, or we know we made the best choice, in my opinion.
The insurance committee voted overwhelmingly to stay
The
where we're
entire,
at.
yes, it's not my opinion that really matters here. It's really the insurance committee, and we all did vote with making Mike continue as our broker of record.
So we just wanted to bring everyone up to date. There was personal accusations that were leveled and all kinds of stuff. That, in my mind, that just cheapens the other side. It needs to be kept professional. Those of us that disagree need to do it on a professional basis. There'll be a lot more issues like this we're going to work through. But when I came back to the board a little bit over a year ago, I promised full transparency, full honesty. That's why we're doing the video now, to share the steps we went through. It's all about doing the right thing for every owner here at Safe Place.
It really is. And Mike, I know exactly what you're saying about people always thinking that someone has some nefarious reason for doing something that is self-serving. Candidly, there's not one person on our board that has anything but the best interest of Seaplace completely as their overwhelming reason to even be here. As I'm sure you all know, we don't get paid for it, but we do get the personal gratification that comes from trying to do the best job you can for your neighbors and friends.
So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either Alan or myself. But we wanted to close the loop on this thing. The insurance committee, even though we've got the $1 million savings, hasn't stopped working. We continue to look at what's best for Seaplace. given a process that I think is anti-competitive in terms of you've got to give one broker access to the market. I'd love to have two brokers come in, access to the same market, and let's see what they do.
Right, having the competitive, as we do on the building committee, to make sure that we have 2 or 3 or even 4 bidders on the same set of documents so that we can get competitive prices. It's not available in the way the insurance industry works. I think we do a good job in spite
Agreed.
of that, Mike.
No, I've always promised full transparency. So there's something I haven't shared and I want to come clean. You're hearing some noise in the background. We are sitting out on the porch at the large pool, enjoying a beautiful sunshine day. So this isn't all work and no play. It's gorgeous out here. So apologize for some of the noise in the background. It is what it is. But the important thing is this message today. Alan, would you agree?
I certainly would, and love being here. And honestly, it's my honor to be invited here, Mike. And thank you for letting me tell a little bit of our story about that particular part of Seaplace management.
You lead the committee that unfortunately has the largest expenses.
Which means I get the most dumped on me, I guess.
He does. He does. So, but we'll continue to come back. But this is all about keeping everyone up to date. If you have any questions, give Alan or I a call. We'll be happy to address
We're
those.
always happy to talk.
Until next time, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.